Very good, thank you.
Okay, for the general meeting, please identify yourself when your name is called. Nick Lano,
Present.
Darlene Lattimore,
Present.
Robert Susalich,
Present.
Luella Williams,
Present.
Tina Fitzgerald,
Present.
Joseph Hardick,
Present.
CEO Richard Lee,
Here.
CFO Christine Licurdo,
Present.
COO Robert Licurdo,
Present.
General Counsel Barry Schulman,
Yes.
Steve Helmer,
Sorry.
Steve Helmer, all right, in the boardroom you have Brian Schultz, Joe DeGray, Chris Tuff, Jackie Musango,
There's additional on the call. Caitlin McCollum.
I'm here.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
we're just identifying because we have a computer screen that identifies people that are on the call, but there's no names attached, so we're trying to identify the callers.
Okay. Steve Cagle.
Here.
EJ Moses.
Present.
Tara Sprecher.
Here.
Present.
Maybe and so.
Jeff Hoff, I think stepped off. Brian Green, you here?
Yeah, I'm here. Who was that?
Brian Green.
I'm here, Chris.
Gotcha. Mario Colon from SMTC.
I'm here. Good morning.
Mario?
I only need people who work at Central.
Okay.
Also, at the beginning.
Mike Fitz, are you on?
Remember to state that this is also the annual meeting of the authority.
I have two people that we haven't identified on the call. Can you guys identify yourselves?
Melissa Bryn.
The annual-
All right.
Carol Lombardo. Melissa Bryn.
Okay. All right, that answers the two callers.
And Linda Beata's on the call as well.
All right.
Okay. All right, so Carol and Melissa were the last two. Okay.
All right, great, thank you, everyone, and with that, Mr. Chairman, I'll turn it back to you.
Okay. Okay. First of all, I also want to state this is also our annual meeting too. I just wanted to let the folks know that. And first, I want to just take a few minutes before we get started here. I want to thank, on behalf of the board, the entire staff of the authority for the effort that they have put in these times that none of us thought we would ever experience in our lifetime. We are on the front end, the services we provide. Our authority has stepped up to the plate and has really helped so many people in this, putting their own selves in jeopardy. I think it's important that we, the board, recognize the efforts that have gone on. It is unbelievable, and I just, on behalf of the board, want to thank you all, and it has gone noticed. Thank you. Coming into the agenda, first of all, we'll look at the chairman's report, reading of the minutes. We're going to need a motion for the minutes in the March 27th, 2020 meeting. I need a motion, accept the minutes.
It's Bob Suslik, so moved.
Second,
Darlene Lattimore.
any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Next, our next scheduled board meeting is May, so we usually have that earlier. It's going to be May 15th because of the holiday weekend. We usually push that up the last so many years. And also from a committee standpoint, we were going to need audit and finance, Rick or Brian, any other committee meetings for the May meeting.
No, I think we're good. The only thing that might pop up would be a legal committee.
So we'll start then 9 o'clock with audit and finance. If we have to adjust with legal, we will adjust with the meetings to follow, the regular meetings to follow. Okay. I'll turn it over to our CEO, Rick Lee, to report out on his matters. We'll include some information from Brian and also Chris. Rick.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, everybody. I too want to mention briefly in my written report, which you all have copied, I just want to make comment that, you know, in 20 years of working at the authority, having never encountered these sorts of circumstances, I can say that I've never been prouder to work with a group of people that are as focused and dedicated and as committed to making sure that we get our job done, which is to serve the 4 communities in the 4 counties that we run service. And it's just it's a pleasure to be associated with them, and I'm very proud of that fact. I want to thank them all, from the drivers to the executives and everybody in between, including the members of the board who make themselves available to have these discussions and these meetings to offer us guidance. Just thank you, everybody. What I did was I put together a compilation of summary of things that have happened in the last month or so, largely compiled by Brian and Chris Tuff. And I'll just hit a couple of them very quickly. The state budget was passed. In the budget, we received a 4.2% increase in operating assistance. That's great news. We hear rumblings about, you know, the governor potentially having to cut the budget because of, you know, federal aid. That is something that will unfold. We'll just see how that happens. Under the COVID emergency that we're facing, I think everybody knows that we're now switched and are running a Saturday schedule in Onondaga County. That is a significant change in service, but it allows us to be able to maintain the fleet and have enough drivers to provide reliable, predictable service. We have received, as EJ mentioned, around $28 million in federal money under the CARES Act to address COVID-related expenses. We're working through that, and EJ and the finance staff and Christine and her folks are staying on top of that. We have a moving number of employees that have been out of work because they've been quarantined. We have a number of them that are out because they tested positive. We have a very small number out, one still hospitalized because he got sick, although he's improving. So this situation has affected our fellow employees, and we need to keep them in our thoughts and prayers. Looking through the list, in addition to managing, which is an ever-changing environment, literally every day, we are providing this request of Onondaga County Office of Emergency Management vehicles to house staff at the testing locations. All of this, as you might imagine, has significantly increased ridership, and we are down about 75% in the fixed route and about 76% in the call bus area. That's inclusive of our contracts, which include SU and the Board of Education. Operations at the RTC have been significantly reduced, and the retail locations are closed down there. And as you might imagine, we are in regular communication with the FDA and with the New York State Department of Transportation and with the Governor's Office regarding all of the things that we're doing, service changes, impact on our staffing, et cetera, et cetera. So, with that, the staff on the phone, who are working some remotely, some semi-remotely, would be able to answer any specific questions that anybody has regarding, how we're doing. But, you know, I have to tell you, we're providing a critical service to the community, and I think we are recognized for that. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Very good. And can you just, Chris, can you just explain, once again, I know, but I don't know who's on from maybe the public or anything, just about your daily calls, what you try to accomplish every day?
Are you asking as far as service, or are you asking as far as calls coming in from the public? Oh, the 9 o'clock meeting, okay. So every day internally, we have a 9 o'clock meeting with all the department heads to discuss. It could be anything from a situation that might have come up with a related to a case. We're talking about any of the service. We meet with the union every day at 7:30. We meet with the president, the business agent of the union, to discuss any matters that are coming up as far as the Saturday schedule or any work that they're handling or feedback that they're getting from the drivers to see if there's anything we can address. We go over the discussion as far as PPE supplies, anything that's on order. So as you saw in the audit and finance, the cures foggers, masks, gloves, sanitizer, anything that's pressing as far as projects or upcoming events. So it's a well-rounded conversation we have every day. The topics, those are typical topics we discuss, but then anything that pops up in between is also discussed.
Very good. Thank you. Brian, any comment? Brian Schultz?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay, very good. We're going to move right into the Audit and Finance Committee report. There was basically 4 issues today on the Audit and Finance Committee. First one, and all of these, I'm not going to get into detail. Everything was discussed in committee and prior. The first one was a motion was made to bring it to the full board for adoption regarding minutia write-off of about $3,284.99 with Nice and Cripps, and Christine did a nice job explaining it. So the motion was made to bring it to the full board. So I'm going to ask now the board for a motion to accept that write-off.
Luella.
Okay, Luella, second.
Tina?
Tina, thank you. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Resolution 3B as discussed in committee, ratifying the Curis system machine, which is the fogger unit at a cost of $9,000, sole source, money to be replaced with the CARES Act once collected. That motion was made to bring to the full board for adoption. At this point, I'll ask for a motion to accept it.
Darlene, so moved.
Second?
Luella Reagan, so moved.
Any questions? All in favor? Aye.
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 EJ discussed with us resolution attachment number 1 to New York State contract C004072 for monies of $579,000. Motion was made to bring it to the full board for adoption. Do I have a motion on that?
Luella, so moved.
Second?
Darlene, second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Resolution 3D has to do with the CARES Act, and I believe Christine and her team will be monitoring this pretty closely. It's in the amount of $28,047,236. That money that we will be going through the process of receiving that'll help us combat the situation that we're in right now. Motion was made to bring it to the full board for approval. Do I have a motion to accept this resolution 3B?
Sorella
Bob
so
Sus-
moved.
Bob
Okay, we got
Suslin,
Bob.
second.
We got Luella with Bob as a second. Any questions? Okay. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
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 Christine, is there anything else, or are we all set on the Finance Committee?
We're all set. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you for your help.
Nick, this might be the place to do the nominating committee.
Okay, very good, thank you. That concludes our Audit and Finance Committee report. Now what I'd like to do is, this is the annual meeting. The nominating committee met. Bob, did you want to, who was on that nominating committee to report out the new slate of officers?
I don't believe that was me.
Thank you.
That was probably me, Joe Hart.
Oh, I jumped, I'm sorry. I did.
Remember?
I'm actually mixed up, so. Joe, can you report out as the chair of that, the nominating committee for the slate of officers for this year that starts right now?
Sure, the nominating for the slate for this coming year, we had yourself as the chair of the board. We had Tina as vice chair or vice president. And we,
No,
and
I think Tina is treasurer and Bob Suswich is vice chairman.
oh, okay, thank you. And Bob Suslich is vice chair and Tina is treasurer.
And Darlene is secretary.
And Doreen continues secretary, correct?
So just to resolve, the chairman of the board is Nick Lano. The vice chairman of the board, vice chair of the board is Robert Suslich. Secretary is Darlene Lattimore and the treasurer is Nina Fitzgerald.
Very good. Okay. Thank you, Joe, for that report out. Thank you very for that clarification. With that being said, I'm going to take it as a whole. I need a motion to accept those folks as the officers for the upcoming year.
Sorella Williams so moved.
Luella moved it, second. Second motion, second. Thanks, Darlene. Second, Darlene. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I'd like to, first of all, thank the board for having the faith in me to lead this authority. I've been involved with public transportation with Central, I can't believe it, 15 years. Utica Transit Authority, a few years prior to that with UTA. And I had a my father-in-law, God rest his soul, was bus driving. So it's kind of been in the family for a long time, so I appreciate the faith that you have for me to lead this authority. I'm looking forward to working with everybody, and as you know, my door is always open, or should I say my cell phone is always open if you ever need me. Thank you. Moving on. Legal,
Could I just say that the, what we just did for the nominating committee will appear as an annual meeting minutes when the board gets the minutes. So we just, not only into the monthly one, but it'll be the annual meeting as well. Sorry.
yeah, no problem. Thanks, Barry, for your clarification. Next, Rob Lucurdo, our Chief Operating Officer. I know you have a lot to talk about.
No, not too much today, Nick. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You've already received a copy of my very brief report. Given the circumstances this month, I too would like to thank all of my drivers, my maintenance staff, and especially my ops people that have been showing up every day to the office, putting themselves at risk, and doing an absolutely fantastic job. Thank you so much. Just a quarterly call of us report, which happens to also mark the end of the fourth quarter and fiscal year. The numbers are as consistent as they've always been with almost 160,000 annual rides. You will notice that we did have a slight downtick in March's numbers as the COVID-19 started to escalate. I will make a comment that you will see, as Rick mentioned, you will see about a 60 to 70% drop in the next quarter, first fiscal year quarter of FY21. You'll see probably about a 70% drop in overall ridership in my next report. But as for the quarter end and year end report, 37,561 rides to an estimated 1,100 plus customers. All other metrics remain consistent as they always do. And with that, I conclude my report, Mr. Chairman, unless there's questions.
Okay, Rob, very, very good, and I know you've been with everybody else doing a lot of talking on those 9 o'clock meetings that we have during the week. Thank you. Okay, moving on here. Legal committee report. Bob, are you going to report out on legal?
Yes, this morning we had a legal committee meeting in executive session. We discussed a pending legal issue. No action was taken. That concludes my report on the legal committee meeting. And then
report on the pension report. No.
Yes, sir. This morning we had a pension committee meeting, and LESCO, the people that manage the two pension plans, gave a very informative, up-to-date report on what's happening. And that concludes my pension committee report.
Very good. Do we have any old business, Mr. Lee?
No, Mr. Chairman, I don't believe we do.
Okay, future business, I'd like to comment that I will be in communication with all the board members over the next month to talk about committee assignments, since we have had some adjustments here in the leadership, and I will be working with you to make sure we get everything in place prior to the next meeting. Does any other of the management team have any other questions or concerns?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes,
Mr. Chairman? Yeah, I missed the roll call. This is Chairman Council. I'm sure you know I
Oh, good, Steve. I was going to hunt you down. I knew you were there. Thank you.
I apologize. I didn't want to interrupt.
No problem. Thank you very much. With that being said, how about a motion for adjournment?
Bob Suslik, so moved.
Second.
Again? That's what it is.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Everybody stay safe and let's have faith there. Thank you, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.
Bye-bye.